So today, guys, I have a very interesting guest with me here today. I'm with John Vuong, who is heading up the local SEO search team. And let me tell you just a little bit about the company. So local SEO search is a full service search engine optimization company. And John, who's the founder of the company, actually was pretty much from day one there. Maybe I'm not sure if I'm 100% right, but pretty much from day one when it comes to SEO working with Yellow Pages back then at the very beginning, back to 2010 actually. So today I'm super excited to learn like what local SEO is all about, local SEO search is all about today, who they're working with, and how they're supporting their customers. So John, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Lucas, for having me. Excited to be on your show, and hopefully I can give your listeners some value in terms of how local SEO search and this industry can help.
Very cool. So yeah, I gave a little bit of introduction, but you're probably much better to tell us like what you guys are all about. Maybe you could tell us like what is local search SEO, local SEO search all about?
Yeah, definitely. So started this agency 8 years ago, back in 2013. The sole purpose was I actually started my career in advertising sales, and I did that for 10 years. From traditional to online affiliate performance based, and also then I worked at Yellow Pages for 5 years. So I've always done sales, and I've worked with thousands of business owners. And one thing they told me while working at Yellow Pages was they were moving away from traditional print media, even the Yellow Pages platform, and users were no longer consuming and finding them on the traditional channels. And they wanted a solution or someone to pivot them away and transition, but they wanted someone they can trust. So for me, I didn't really know a lot about SEO when I first started, but I knew there was a demand and need. So I wanted to fill that gap. And today we have done a good job helping businesses transition from traditional, or people that are frustrated, not getting a really good experience with good returns, and just ideal persona kind of avatar on who they want to really portray to be digitally. So we help them become more visible thought leaders, experts in their domain, in their community, in their niche. And we really provide that for service-based type companies, small, medium-sized businesses, very similar to Yellow Pages, because that's my background. That's who I resonate most with. I understand them inside out, and I can actually talk their lingo. They can, and that's why I have only focused on that for 8 years.
Makes a lot of sense. You brought up a couple of examples of companies you're working with. Like what would be a couple of other verticals, if somebody's listening in, what's the type of companies you typically work with? Obviously local, there's already in the name, like
yes. So typically Yellow Pages type industries, anything to do with trades, plumbers, tree guys, pest guys, handyman, window guys, as well as professional services, which is the dentist, ortho, chiro, physio, lawyers, anything to do with a higher ticket service type transaction. We also work with a lot of B2B type companies as well, national, international in scope, that just need more visibility and more awareness on, like you mentioned, journey type keywords, answering all the who, what, why, where questions, and helping them closer to that phase of lead, right?
Super interesting. That, and now I have to ask that question, if you're working with these types of, business owners and clients, like how do they actually get to know about local SEO search? And what's their journey of getting to know you guys? Like what's the typical client acquisition channels?
Yeah, it took us a while, but it's all about building solid relationships in the foundation. And it's, again, I started this as a salesperson, not knowing technical. And before I started ranking, it was all about the sales relationship play. And it was more about my credibility, right? Like I was branding not just the agency, but myself. And it was more credibility. Like, are you in it for the right reasons? Do I trust you? And what is your story like? What is your background like? So when I first started, I was very authentic and raw and told people that I don't have a lot of SEO experience, but I know that you need this. And I want to help you, guide you through this, even though I know I'll probably make a lot of mistakes, and I'm going to try to figure it out the best way. I'm going to get the best insights and knowledge from the thought leaders in the industry, right? So I was doing a lot of reading, conferences, going out there, seeking out advice from experts. And for me, that's the whole journey of business ownership, I feel. And when you want to continue learning and trying to get better, they feel it, they see it, your customers, and they want to be a part of it. So early days, it was challenging to stay afloat, hiring a team. I bootstrapped everything. It was more about having, a passion for helping others. And so that's what I did. And this whole SEO world, I feel a lot of these people in it are givers. They want to help businesses succeed. And so we want to only resonate with the same type of people, which are good, solid, core value, good, ethical business owners. Everyone else, I'm not interested in helping.
I mean, I really have to sort of like shout out or give a shout out to that transparency piece that you brought up. Like, actually communicating where the knowledge stand is and then working from there rather than, not being fully transparent. Like, really cool. Like, awesome. Really shows the sort of the value base of local SEO search. Awesome. What I would be curious, right? We talked about getting referrals there, companies obviously recommending you guys. What role would you attribute to the website of local SEO search for client and business generation?
Yeah, so the website is definitely one of the largest asset pieces, right? So yes, you need to hit them in many queries, as high search volume, as high conversion rate queries as possible. So it took us time to build authority, just like anything. To be positioned like an expert, you need to get out there and do what you say you're going to do, right? So you need to know SEO in the first place to then rank, and then you're competing with all these other SEO agencies across not just a local scale, but national, international scale. And then it's all about reputation. So what is your social proofs? What is your case studies like? What is your white papers like? Supporting that with proof. So it took time, just like anything. If you're in business and you know that your value prop is high, it takes time to harvest good relationships, and it takes time to get social proof. No one's gonna just give you a testimonial without getting real life results from your services. So you need to harvest that. And you can't push people to start giving you reviews if they've never felt the impact. So over the years, you learn, right? It takes time, just like anything. You don't push people, you just want to help them. The more you help, like we get a lot of referrals, we get a lot of leads. It's more about saying no because we want to make sure they're a good fit with the agency.
Very cool. That makes a lot of sense. Obviously, somebody like yourself who has been in it for the long term is very critical also with their own work. Typically, at least that's what we see on the show. If you look or think about your own website, right? Where would you see is the strength at first? Like, where would you see is the strength of the website at the moment? Is it the ability to convert? Is it the quality of the leads? Is it the experience? Like, where do you see the strength?
I think a website plays so many vital roles in the journey, right? And it's one piece out of the 14 touch points that happen before they transact with you. You have to understand that it has to be synchronized. It has to be consistent across all channels, from social to ads to any asset piece that you own. It has to be in sync. Even the social proof aspect, third-party reviews, has to be in alignment with what you say on your website. People are going to vet you, especially if you're doing a service that's a higher ticket and it's a relationship play. And it's a long-term relationship that you're after. And when you're, and it all depends on what you're selling, of course, right? If it's just a widget, a product, then yes, social media might be it with an offer, right? A product. Influence marketing might work. But if you're going after a high ticket relationship tenure, you need to ensure that they need your service, but then you educate them, you inform them, and they know that you're there for them, right? From service, quality, results, and then the customer relationship along the way, problems, diagnosis, everything has to be very, very tight. So that comes credibility then, right? It's like references. People are going to check you out. So the website is vital. And I feel a lot of people who check us out are also checking out reviews, social proofs, video testimonials, because that's what converts people, right?
Yep.
More so than what you say, it's what other people say about you, and they can actually check out the results from other people.
Yeah, makes a whole lot of sense. That concept of having all of it in sync, I think, is a really just. I mean, it's a simple concept, but it's important to keep on reminding yourself how that journey actually feels like. Very good. Where do you see in turn though room for improvement? You know, is it the conversion rates? Is it the quality of the? Where do you see room for improvement? Because I know somebody like yourself would always look for further improvements.
Yeah, so I'm always a believer of always getting better, right? We've done a lot of different marketing tactics over the last couple of years. I've done a lot of traditional trade shows, magazines, newspaper, editorial, and then now digital, paid ads, social, email funnels, performance, you name it. I've done it, right? I've redone my website 3 to 4 times. I have a lot of niche sites. I do a lot of different things to see what works and what doesn't. And that's the whole journey of a business owner. You got to go out there, try different things, see what works and what doesn't, talk to other community leaders, see. But I'm very passionate of trying things, like having fun along the way. And I feel like, yes, there's gaps, there's opportunity as well, but enjoy the process. And for me, it's about resonating with the right type of tribe. The people is more important to me, because as when they vet me to choose me or potentially want to work with me, I vet them even more to make sure they're a good business owner, right? So we have all of these questions to ensure that they're a good fit. So it takes time to be able to do that. But when you're able to, like as a sales rep, you can read people, you can understand if they're really in it for the long term, or they're just trying to hack the system or try to get a quick fix or lowball you on all these other factors. But when you want a leader, an expert, that's what you pay for. That's the relationship. That's what you mold yourself to become if you're a true leader. So that's what I'm always trying to be, the best version of myself, keep getting better and elevate myself.
Very, very cool. Super interesting. Maybe one last question, sort of, about the journey that we are describing here at the moment. I'm just super, super curious on your take. Obviously, within Pathfinder, we talk a lot about buying journeys, right? How do you relate the buying journey to SEO? Like, what would be sort of your 2 or 3 little maybe nuggets of thoughts about, how SEO and the buying journey actually belong together?
Yeah, definitely. Buying journey, keywords that resonate with your ideal customer, user intent. And there's going to be a lot of informational type queries in a blog to get them into the website. But when someone's ready to transact, it's usually a localized query that's navigational or transactional. And they're going to type in either specific location or a service or product that's similar to what they want to purchase. And so understanding this just from Yellow Pages days, like understanding all my clients, I learned this before Google even existed, right? So it's become more second nature to me. But then some of the keywords that I'm after right now is top best, right? Which are trying to even get the best type of leads, quality leads, right? Because you don't know the users who are searching, there's quality users that you want to go after as well, that are so close to that buying cycle, the end of it, that you want to hit them as well as information with a different funnel, right? You have different sequences available, but understanding all that. But ultimately, all this digital thing works if you do it right. A lot of business owners forget that they should focus on what their strengths are and try not to do this because they're probably not experts at it. They need experts to deliver and execute with actionable things, because everyone as a business owner thinks they could do everything themselves. That's one misconception. They can do it cheaper, faster, and it's going to be better, supposedly, right? But once you realize that you can't do everything, there's people smarter, faster, better than you are, and probably less expensive too, because they love what they do. And you can probably devote your time and effort to grow your business, do things you love. I mean, that's something people have to realize themselves.
Super interesting. I would love to switch gears a little bit. We talked a lot about SEO and the journey, and now I love to learn a little bit about yourself as a sort of leader and also educator. I would even say. How do you educate yourself? Like, where do you go to learn and grow?
So I read a lot. I read about 1 to 2 books a week. Um,
Hmm.
I'm a part of about 5 communities. I mentor. Um, I try to learn from people that I respect in different aspects of life, not just people around my age, but people that are much more wise, that are 60, 70, also entrepreneurs, business owners that, and I was very fortunate in the Yellow Pages as a lifetime, like that life stage of working in that space. I was working with thousands of business owners. And for me, that was 1 hour mentor sessions with thousands of these people. And I didn't really talk about advertising because people knew Yellow Pages. I really talked about storytelling. I really want to understand what motivated them to be so good at what they did, which was take care of their customers, understanding their values, understanding their lifestyle choices, understanding community, understanding what really triggered them to be the best version of themselves, right? To continue being passionate and loving what they do. That's what really matters in life, right? And for me, that's bigger than business, because if you look at the lifespan of someone, maybe it's 80 to 100 years. Business can be 5 or 10 years. Not everyone can go past 1 or 2 years, right? And so not everyone's going to be a business owner, and that's okay too. You can be a leader in different levels, managers, CIO, CO, whatever. But as a business owner, it takes a different mindset and person to be willing to sacrifice everything to take on this, journey, right? And but you have to enjoy the process. You got to enjoy what you do. And so for me, like just educating myself, surrounding myself with good people, I don't spend a lot of time on social media. I don't spend a lot of time watching news. I don't spend a lot of time on things that I don't feel that's valuable in my life, right? So I spend a lot of time with like child, my wife, my friends. Like they mean a lot to me, my friends and family, right? So just being in control, mental clarity is huge. Making sure that you have energy to do things and perform things at a high level, and you enjoy every stage along the way.
Very cool. I mean, that's a very thorough answer. Since we're slowly coming to the end of the interview, we'd love to jump into our rapid fire questions. It's just a couple of quick questions and answers. Are you ready for those?
Yes, definitely.
What's the last book you read?
Um, I just finished reading psychonetic how do you say it? Um, but I actually read 2 of them, right? Raising Boys is another one, and Psycho-Cybernetics. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly.
No worries. Okay, very good. What's the one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Just I'm actually working on helping internal staff level up. So I'm doing a lot of internal training, and I'm devoting more time on my people to help them get better.
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing you wanted to have fixed for your company today?
For me, it's instill more better habits. So as much as there's no technology, there's great stacks of things to make you more productive, efficient. It's all about life skills, more important than anything.
cool. And the very last question, right? If today would be your very, very first day you're working on the company, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
It's a long journey. Keep plugging away and staying positive. And there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be struggles, pain points, and regrets, failures, but don't give up. And that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, 8 years.
Very, very cool. John, I really appreciate that you took the time with us today to be part of Platform Presents. I want to give you the very last word, right? If somebody would be forgetting everything that we discussed about your company today, what's the one thing that they should remember?
Just have fun, right? Life is short. Smile. Make sure that you're doing something that you're passionate doing. You want to keep providing and helping others, giving. Don't expect anything in return. Just do good. Like humans, we're social creatures, but we also want to help others, right? And you get more out of life when you actually help other people get more out of life. So keep on giving.
Thanks for being part of the show.
Thank you, Lucas.